My name is Dr. Scott Hamill. I am a professor of civil engineering and the chair of the Department of Civil Engineering. So the way I would describe civil engineering is helping people to solve problems in civilization. So there are 5 disciplines at UAA in civil engineering. There's transportation, structures, environmental, water resources, and geotechnical. And all of those involve basically solving problems so that we can have clean water, safe structures and earthquakes, things that won't sink into the ground, wastewater, clean air, and transportation systems that work, like roadways, traffic lights, those sorts of things. I find that civil engineers gain meaning from their work pretty easily. Most of the civil engineers that I talk to really feel fulfilled by their jobs. Part of that is because they get to see the thing that they designed built. It's very common. One of the other things about civil engineering is that there's all manner of jobs. There's designers, there's inspectors, there's people who work on the construction side, there's people who work on the drilling side, spend a lot of time outdoors. There's drafters, so there's lots of different sort of career paths, and they all kind of take meaning differently. But but most of the ones I talk to, they like that they get to see the things that they design get built, and they like that they get to contribute to their community. So, if you design a road and it makes traffic flow much better, then that's really good for all the people around you. And if you design a culvert or a water system that makes sure that everybody can drink clean water, then you get a lot of satisfaction out of that. A lot of the civil engineers that I know, they get into it because they want to help their community. Some characteristics that are good of a good civil engineer are, one, the ability to communicate is probably top of the list. Sort of professional skills. We work a lot collaborative. You need to be able to communicate both in person, verbally, and also in writing, and sometimes just in your drawings. Second one I would say is a good attention to detail. If you miss something, it can cost a lot of money, even if it's not dangerous. Sometimes you just swap out the wrong pipe or you have the wrong specification of something, and it can be $1 million before somebody finds the problem. And then the third one is being creative. We use computer models, we use building codes. We don't really need engineers to just recycle the same thing over and over again. Anybody can design a Walmart in about an hour with the current building codes and available software. Where you really earn your money is coming up with the architect, or in structural engineering, the architect wants to do something crazy like a giant cantilever, or some crazy floor layout or something, and you have to think through how that's going to work. A long time ago, back in the 60s and 70s, it was really important that you be good at math, and it was really important that you be very organized and sort of nerdy pencil pusher, just kind of introvert. We don't do that anymore, really, because the computers just do the math for the most part, and you don't have to do 35 pages of hand calculations, because the computer does that. So being creative and being a good communicator are much more important. So the only other thing that I would mention about civil engineering, particularly in Alaska, is the huge need for civil engineers right now. There are almost as many civil engineering jobs in Alaska as there are all other engineering and computer science jobs combined. Currently, UAA and UAF, we only graduate about 1/3 of the number of civil engineers needed just to replace the current ones as they retire and move out of state.